Hi, this week is seeing with new eyes. And it really was seeing with new eyes. The mind, in how it has operated for a long time with beings that I saw, to be able to see with new eyes was the ability to actually see themselves rather than be stuck in mind with how they efforted to the best of their capacity to be there for others, or to be there for a project, or to be there for looking for a new way that they wanted to live their life. All of this happened to be stuck in mind, and mind sees in a certain way. So to be able to see with new eyes was to see through eyes that saw itself. That sounds weird, but when you see yourself, it appears very differently than seeing what we need to do for others, or how we need to get it all right because that's what it takes. We're the ones that have to do it all. To see through your own eyes is to see that you're not guilty about certain things in the past, that in fact other beings themselves had a way of seeing it and an attitude that could have uplifted themselves rather than being relied on to be uplifted, and therefore have this attitude in life that something went wrong and it's your fault. There's a place for it, but there's also a place where that doesn't fit, where those energies can very much be put upon another to keep them in the bondage of the guilt, and to keep them spinning the wheels, to feel that you have to keep looking after, or you have to cope with, or you have to be the one that makes it okay. So seeing through new eyes is to actually go, hey, it's pretty one-sided. And how come I'm so taken for granted? What I noticed this weekend, that the beings that came were of what I call a high caliber. And the high caliber of these beings take things on and do their best to an extent that goes beyond in their ability to be kind, to be of service, to get it done, to make it okay. And that's a wonderful thing to experience in oneself, because there is an enjoyment to an extent in that, but there is also a place where it goes into overwhelm, and also goes into place in the mind where it continues when there's no more to do and there's nothing to resolve, which leads to headaches, tiredness, not feeling present. So seeing through new eyes is a way of seeing the way it really is, and being fair to yourself in the seeing of it, after seeing that the mind is spinning its wheels and there is actually nothing that the mind spinning its wheels will actually benefit other than keep you trapped and in exhaustion. So in seeing it fairly brings great peace, because you can see it's not even your problem. And when you see it clearly, you know what action to actually take and what others actually need to see, whether they want to or not, which they're not going to be happy about. But it's for them to see. It's for them to see with new eyes as well. When you see with new eyes, you notice that others also need to start seeing with new eyes, so that we can both see. There was another part to this. Actually, one came with physical stuff, and the interesting thing is the operation actually really went well, but there was a shock after it because it wasn't perfect straight away, because people with high caliber expect things to go really well because they do things really well, and the body went into shock and couldn't quite connect because the shock prevented it. So in correcting the shock in the physical body, give me a break, give me a moment or two to reconnect the muscles or whatever needed to be restored. And in doing that, the body felt the flow happening. And the message to this being was wonderful, because the message to the being was, you're good. Just relax in the you're good, rather than it always has to be perfect and why aren't other people that? And although much of that has been dealt with over the years, there was still that element of expectation, instead of going, it's good, it'll work itself out. And then it said, and you can be better. And the and you can be better actually went to looking at aspects of life that we all can do where we know we can do better. So it went there for this being, but we can all go to a place where we can feel comfortable and say, I'm good. You know, you're not deliberately nasty or waking up in the day to see how you can get a lend off somebody else or whatever it is. There is a sense of, I'm good. And then there's that element of, and I can be better, which can be in a multitudes of ways, nutritionally, exercise, sleeping, wishing others well. There's just so many ways we can be better. The other element that showed, and it is a shift. There's another shift happening. And that shift was interesting because no matter how the mind tried to work things out, and already being in good spirit, there was an element showing up, and I'll draw it, because this was just a new energy, and it was so delicious and warm, because of those who are of good caliber. To see it is in fact opening doors and giving warmth and support in going forward. So the best way to actually show it is, okay, here we are in third world density. And sometimes the mind feels it has to work things out. The worst thing we want is for the mind to be in the driver's seat. Very much the spirit has that hand on the wheel, and the mind has to get in the back seat. And what is interesting is that the mind is starting to be quieter and desires to be of service to the spirit. It gets it, and it's getting it very quickly lately. But what showed up, that once the spirit had the hand on the wheel and the mind was in the back seat of the car, there was this element then that showed up where this energy came around the car and says, I'm supporting the car. And it's not coming from spirit per se, it's another energy that is surrounding at the moment with warmth and support, in trust of the flow of the spirit. And it showed up in a way where this being that came, being very creative, they actually thought they were doing the output, they were doing the creativity. Yes, they were linked to the spirit, blah, blah, blah. But what showed up was, what's coming in now is entering from this other field that is supporting the whole vehicle, and it knows the spirit has the capacity to flow with it, and it's taking it to a whole new level. That's really something to sit with and ponder. So with these new eyes, the mind is going quieter and realizing a lot of stuff that I'm trying to fix actually doesn't even belong to me. It's not even my problem. It's not mine to fix. And feeling that energy that is now this warmth supporting the moving forward, that is in direct contact with the flow of spirit. The mind is then silent. It's not a mind job. It's feeling the support, knowing you're good, and this sense of an expansion of who you are in the creation moving forward. To be of this caliber, and all those that I saw were definitely of that caliber. We can go too far, we can be too productive, we can be too. But amongst all of that, it does create an element of tenacity. And the card that was pulled at the beginning of the week was tenacity. Acknowledge your staying power, your courage and determination. Feel good about the adversities that have created the strength of tenacity within you. Hold on, be strong, but stop short of being stubborn, especially when you're opposed by anyone. Great forces are at work to bring you wonderful changes. And seeing through new eyes is so good, because you yourself are good. And to see that, we can now interact on a more equal level with others. That does not drain or take advantage, and where the willingness, where the interchange is of such proportion that we all give that which we desire to be in relationship with. The interesting thing was that when I pulled the card, there was another card, and it kind of showed up like this. It's like, here we have tenacity, and here we have a card backing it. And the card backing it was stillness. Take time to be still, to appreciate the beauty in every moment. quiet your busy mind and allow the still softness of peace to envelop you. Do not rush into anything, but sit meditatively, and in this stillness, your answer may be found. To attain what has eluded you, what you have not seen, be still and allow it to land upon you, as a feather would gently float into your hand. Do so, and your wishes descend upon you. What a beautiful weekend. Lots of love.